Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back to my video. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your humble host about children TV, and I am here today to talk about 4 stories. Before I get started, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell, that notification on, so you're notified every single time I drop a brand new video. Also, go on to my second page, which is Prime Time, and go over there and subscribe, like, and share on that channel. It'd be my honor if you do all that. Today we have very sad stories, and we have 4 stories tonight. And our first story is a youth football coach who was shot and killed. Um, that's our first story we're going to talk about. Second story we're going to talk about is a toddler who wandered naked down the street. This happened in Florida. Then on the third story, we have mom and grandmother who are facing murder charges. And then our fourth and final story is a child was found dead in a hotel room. So we have a lot of crazy stories to talk about today. These stories are not suitable for children. So if you have children, this is not the type of stories that are suitable for children that we're going to be talking about. I'll give you 30 seconds to get your children out of the room. Alright. If your children are out that room, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Lancaster. The Lancaster coach is remembered after a fatal shooting. Suspect is at large. Lancaster police are looking for a man who they say shot a football coach after a disagreement between coach staff Saturday evening. According to police, at approximately 8:50 p.m., officers were dispatched to the multiple calls for service at 1749 Jefferson Street in Lancaster, commonly known as Lancaster Community Park. During the disagreement, the opposing coaching staff was involved in a physical altercation, and one of the individuals involved discharged a firearm, striking an adult male, Lancaster police said. Officers have identified a suspect involved in the altercation as Yaqub Salik Talib. Talib is the brother of Aqib Talib, a former NFL quarterback and 5-time Pro Bowler who was announced his retirement in 2020. He was an active warrant for his arrest. Police said the victim, identified as Coach Mike Hickman, was transported to a local hospital for treatment, where he was later pronounced dead. Texas Sports, a youth athletic league, posted the group's condolences to the family on Facebook Sunday. Tonight, we lost a great father, son, husband, and coach. He was coaching his son and team today at a sporting event somewhere in Dallas when his life was taken by a coward. The post said we pray for the family and our community at the crazy time in youth sports. A spokesperson with Texas Sports told NBC5, Hickman had been coaching in the league for years. However, we told Saturday event was not hosted by the league, but a different organization. Recalling Saturday's events, Pastor Keith Hall answered a call from someone telling him that one of his members, Mike Hickman, was hurt. He immediately called Hickman, but did not get any answer. Hall then called Hickman's wife, who broke the news. And when I called her and she said, Pastor, he didn't make it. He didn't make it. And she was just heartbroken. And all the air was sucked out of us, Hall said. Hall said Hickman was an active Hick- Hall said Hickman was active in the church, Grace Temple Fellowship, and passionate about coaching youth football. People gravitated to him. They loved him, and they called him coach. He took time with them. Paul said that's just the type of person he was. Parents who attended the youth game said the yelling, the screaming, and the shooting happened in front of the children. I just imagine all these kids saw that, and they're going to have to relive that," said Hall. Hall said he lost. Hall said the loss is devastating. We have two lovely children who do not have the father in their life now. He said we have a wife that is heartbroken and a family that is going through it, that is going through and it's very difficult. And we all need to be praying for them. Pastor Keith Hall tells us Jennifer Hickman, a teacher murdered in 2020, was Coach Mike Hickman's sister. Anyone with information containing the whereabouts of Talib should contact detectives. Smad Durangic at 972-218-2756. That is again 972-218-2756. The update is the suspect has been arrested. His brother actually retired from the NFL, who was playing for the LA Rams. So this is the suspect. That is the suspect. He's been caught and arrested. This is the victim, who was 42, I believe. That was the coach. I'm gonna show you the news video, and then I'm gonna give my commentary about this story. I have a lot to say about this story. Uncensored starts right now. And welcome to the Factor Uncensored. One person is. Hold on one second. Hold on. Hold on. Right there. And look up news video.
In the shooting death of one of the coaches. Good evening, I'm Blake Hansen. It happened this weekend at Lancaster, just south of Dallas. Mike Hickman, coach of the Dragon Elite Academy, was killed. The person police are looking for is Yakub Talib. An argument at a youth football game ended in the shooting death of one of the coaches. Good evening, I'm Blake Hansen. It happened this weekend at Lancaster, just south of Dallas. Mike Hickman, coach of the Dragon Elite Academy, was killed. The person police are looking for is Yaqub Talib, the brother of former NFL star Aqib Talib. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager joins us now with the latest. Peyton.
Blake, and today we're learning more about the youth football coach who was shot and killed, Mike Hickman. Friends and family tell me he was a husband and a father. Tonight, Lancaster police are still searching for the man they believed killed Hickman. A youth football game in Lancaster ended with gunfire Saturday evening. This video of the shooting sent to TMZ. Parents and children at the community park scrambled to safety. One of them, CJ Bivens, and his 9-year-old son.
I seen the fire come from the gun, and I just broke and I hollered for my son. Nope. I just hollered for my son and trying to, make sure my son was all right.
Bivens says he looked back to see his son's coach, 43-year-old Mike Hickman, lying on the ground. Hickman later died at the hospital. Kerry Lewis is also the team's coach.
We shouldn't be up here hurting like this because of a Little League football game.
Police say Yaqub Talib shot and killed Hickman. Lewis tells Fox 4 Hickman's son is on the team.
His son witnessed him get shot down, murdered, on the field.
Lewis and Heath Mays coached alongside Hickman Saturday for Dragons Elite Academy when they say the opposing team's parents and coaches became angry.
They were just upset about losing, and dude came on the sideline, somebody gonna punch the referee, so the referee called the game.
In this video obtained by TMZ, you can see a man in a North Dallas United t-shirt arguing with the referees. According to Lancaster police, shortly after the disagreement with the refs, the two coaching staffs got into a physical fight. That's when investigators say Talib opened fire.
No one should come to a 9-year-old's game and be fearful for their life or be fearful of my son might get shot while he's playing football. Come on, y'all. This has to stop.
Talib is the only suspect named by police. Talib is the brother of former NFL cornerback Aqib Talib. Witnesses tell Fox 4 Aqib Talib was also at the game when the shooting took place.
These kids are innocent. They shouldn't have to witness what they witnessed last night.
Sunday, Hickman's players and their parents grieved together, now left heartbroken.
That he was a genuine person. He was a loving person. He was a father first.
Again, Talib is still not in custody tonight. He does have a criminal history. Back in March, he accepted a plea bargain for an assault charge back in 2017. And then in June, just a few months ago, he was picked up in Plano for unlawful possession of a firearm. Now, I reached out to Talib's attorney, who confirms he represented Talib in the past. He says he has no comment. He would not tell me if Talib has reached out to him since last night or where Talib may be. Blake, back to you.
Did you know you can receive free cell phone service?
Here is his family. And that's him. Okay. Here's my commentary. And I don't understand why. First of all, the fact that you bring a gun anyways to a children football practice lets me know that you didn't care about nobody's well-being, number one. Number two, he killed the father of four, who was only 42 years old, and then killed him in front of his child, his son. First of all, he killed him over a disagreement and shot him 45 times. What gets me is that you don't understand what trauma you brought upon people at that game. Not just his family, not just his son who witnessed his father being gunned down, but you have to remember there was a bunch of kids there, parents were there. So now they going through crisis because of your ignorance. Now remember, initially he got into it with the coach, not the coach, the referee. They said, and I guess the coach stepped in, and that's when a altercation broke out. Now, when I showed you the news video, there was a bunch of people fighting, bunch of adults fighting, and a gun, and he with the gun outside the shit. Every adult that was there that jumped and was fighting the coach, every adult needs to be arrested and charged because it caused him to lose his life. If a DA was to pick this case up, which they did, and the DA was to watch that video of the moment before he was gunned down, there'd be a lot of more people going to jail. So you mean to tell me that you can't even go to a youth football practice? You can't bring your children to see a youth football game, and people getting triggered by a game or a practice. Now, just the thing. Can you imagine being his wife and you get that call that your husband was shot and rushed to the hospital and he later died, and she thinking, but who did it and why this happened? Over a disagreement, basically over the game, over it's in my opinion one of the evil acts of violence. Secondly, what gets me upset about this is that children had to witness such an unbelievable act, and what you don't see was Black Lives Matter. You don't see anybody protesting out there. You don't see nobody, you know what I'm saying? You see news videos once in a while and people talking about it, but you don't see crowds out there marching, talking about, you know what I'm saying, gun reforms. You don't see, Black Lives Matter movement. We're talking about a coach who was in his 40s, who had four kids, who was killed senseless at a youth football game. And at least the community of Texas, Dallas, Texas, could do is come together and march for the victim and for the children who had to see what they saw. Nobody should have to see that. Nobody should have to see the ignorance that the suspect did to shoot callously and think that nobody could be injured or killed. Something is psychologically wrong. And when I was watching AFC AFC podcast, shout out to AFC. When I was watching his podcast yesterday, um, he was talking about how the one thing that the suspect should have done, because his brother was in the NFL before he retired, should have had standards, which means that he should have knew what was right and what was wrong. Pulling out a gun during a football game, and as your brother is representing, was representing, and should be always representing the NFL, you put a bad picture out there. You put a image out there, and your true color and how you really are was something to go your way. You know, children out there that day could have been shot and killed. But they bullet could have been injured over what? Because something didn't go your way. You know, you got to think twice. And this is what I'm saying. Now, because this happened, you're going to see a lot of security at these football games. In my opinion, there should have been some type of security at the football game. Knowing that there's so much shootings that goes on in the community, there should be some type of security at that game or at that practice. Armed security or something. And you had to ask yourself, why wasn't there no type of security? There should have been security guard, maybe the police, something. Because anybody could walk into these games armed. It's not hard. Just put a gun in you and you just walk right on through. So that's what I'm gonna say. I want to say RIP to the coach, to his family. I want to say my condolences go out to his family, his children, the Dallas community, the players who suffered, the parents who suffered, who was at that game. To the shooter, I want to say this: you're gonna have your day in court, and when you have your day in court, the only person you're gonna have to answer to is to the victim's family. Secondly, I want to say to those who were involved in that altercation, fighting, those adults that were fighting, I want to say this. What were you thinking at that moment? What possessed you to fight at a children little football practice? What made you thought and think that that was okay? Think about that. At a children football game, what made you think that was the great thing to do? Was to fight. Instead of fighting, it should have been breaking in there. No, you want to jump into something that had nothing to do with you, and it caused someone to lose their life. Which I think every person who was fighting in that field, every adult, needs to be charged. Because you just as guilty. Eh, again, I say words Black Lives Matter. It should be out. There should be, you know what I'm saying? There should be, outcry going on. Which means there should be people upset about this, protesting more often. Children. We're talking about children. Where's Black Lives Matter when you meet them? And let me tell you this: if a child was shot and killed, Black Lives Matter would have been there so quick, so fast, and then they would have went as to lighting things on fire, burning things. There'd have been mad shootings that same day. So I think that what I'm saying, there should be you know a big old what I'm saying. There should have been people out walking the streets, holding signs, turning the victim's picture up. Because again, he was a father of four. He was 43 years old, I believe. And nobody deserves to lose a father. You know what I'm saying? No, nobody, or a family member, nobody. And I think that in the day and age that we live in, we're going to continue seeing violence if we don't stop it. We're going to continue seeing innocent people being killed, children being killed, people being killed at events. We got to stop it. We got to stop the violence. It's just getting so out of hand that it's not even fun. We got to put the guns down. We got to change. We got to start speaking with our mouths, not with weapons. That's not how it should go. So that comes to Sky talking about this particular video. Um, Share this video. Like Bear Live Live. One more 1 second video. Our next story is out of Florida. Florida takes an L. Our first story was out of Texas. Texas is taking L. Now, Dallas to be exact. Now, a naked 4-year-old led cops to a Florida home so deplorable it's hazardous, police say. A naked 4-year-old girl was found wandering in a Florida neighborhood. Eventually led police to a home covered in dirt, trash, and fecal matter, according to the Vero Beach Police Department. Living conditions were so deplorable, officers arrested the girl's parents on child neglect charges, police said in a news release. The investigation began around 1:15 p.m. Wednesday, July 27, when a homeowner in the 2200 block of 18th Street reported a 3 to 4-year-old child wandering the yard. Vero Beach is about 105 miles southeast of Orlando. The child was reported to the child was reported to be unclothed and unattended, police said. Witnesses in the area were able to point out that the child was seen leaving a nearby home approximately 45 minutes earlier by herself. Investigators visited the home just over a block away and met with the couple who identified themselves as parents of the 4-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy. Both parents explained to officers that the 4-year-old child must have escaped through a bedroom window after they placed her down for a nap, police said. Officers and detectives on scene were able to smell strong odors of urine and feces coming from within the residence. Officers' living areas, kitchen, and bedrooms covering the living room. Observed trash covering the living areas, kitchen, and bedrooms, and feces on the walls through the front entrance and the windows of the residence. The Florida Department of Children and Families was summoned to conduct a home inspection and found the walls and floors of the entire residence were covered in dirt, trash, and fecal matter, police said. Mattresses that the children slept on were soiled and there was fecal matter on the floors. The children of the resident was covered in dirt and dirty dishes. The kitchen, the kitchen of the residence was covered in dirt and dirty dishes. The inside of the refrigerator was covered in mold and appeared to have no edible food, police said. DCF investigators and detectives deemed the residence to be hazardous to anyone living there. The parents were arrested and faced 2 charges each of child neglect, police said. The Department of Children and Families took custody of the 2 children, officials said. Here, okay, hold on. The house is in the middle. So it'll be that house right there in the middle. That would be the house. Here's some news video.
Listen closely. First, I'll have new information tonight about the dangerous living conditions discovered in that Treasure Coast home after a 4-year-old was found wandering in the street alone. And new details, the parents now in jail. Good evening, I'm Todd McDermott.
And I'm Felicia Rodriguez. Thank you for joining us. Reporter Ari Hines spoke with the neighbors who found the child and what their discovery unveiled.
To give you an idea of just how bad this situation was, police here in Vero Beach tell me the children would, quote, paint their bedroom walls with their own feces. Now those children are in the custody of the state. Their parents are in jail, charged with child neglect. From the outside, the home on 18th Street in Vero Beach looks normal, looks clean, but police say that's not what was on the inside.
It's so hard to imagine.
Lieutenant Daniel Cook says even veteran officers were disturbed by what they saw.
It was covered in feces, urine, trash. The refrigerator was covered in mold. There was no food in the refrigerator.
Police say Michael and Crystal Slauson were living in that filth with their 2 children, a 4-year-old girl and a 9-year-old boy. The little girl walked away from the home Wednesday afternoon, no clothes, wandering the neighborhood for almost an hour.
I saw it was a child, and the child was naked. So I let Abe know what was going on, and she ran out to help.
And I looked to see if there were any adults or anybody that might have been looking for her or that she was with, and there was no one to be found.
April brought the girl inside, gave her clothes, gave her water.
She was very filthy. She smelled like she hadn't had a bath in a very long time, and that was immediately concerning.
Joe called police. Other neighbors directed officers to the girl's home. Those officers say they could smell the filth before the parents even opened the door.
When they got inside, they found the most deplorable conditions they'd ever seen.
Okay, I'm doing my commentary on it. Number one, and I'm going to continue saying this, and I'm going to stand by this. Some people don't need children. If you can't take care of a child, don't have them. Because now you're not even cleaning your children, feeding your children, watching your children, bathing your children, none of that. The fact that the mother said that she climbed out of a bedroom window. It seems like that won't be. To me, I don't think a 4-year-old could climb out of a bedroom window. I don't think a 4-year-old could lift a window. If that's the case, the window was left open, which also means that it would be negligent on whoever left the window open if she climbed out the window. Now, A, if she climbed out the window was already open. B, my determination is she could have went out the door, which means the door could have been left open and unlocked. You don't know. Number two is the father bonded out of jail. That's the update. He bonded out, and the mother is still in jail. And I think the bond that they got was $15,000. I think, or something like that. I was remembering or something like that. That's the thing. Remember, these couples, the mother and the father, remember what they say. I'm telling you, the reason why they didn't get that they even got a bond is because I guarantee if the man and the woman was black, there'd be no bond. That's just what it would be. Which that's why I say the system failed the children. The system is broken. There should be no bond whatsoever. If you walk in a house and see a house that filthy, urine and feces everywhere, mold in the refrigerator, no food, that should be abandonment. Especially because there's no food in the refrigerator for the children to eat. They'll be charged abandonment. That means you're abandoning your children from eating. That's what that means. That means you don't care. My opinion, they shouldn't have no bond. He should still be in jail. That's my
Never
opinion.
seen. It was absolutely unimaginable, unlivable. I think it.
Like, comment, and subscribe on our particular video. Let me know what you think about that particular story. It's crazy. And the fact that people continue having children out of real life and not taking care of their responsibility. But I digress. Let's move on to our next video.
Americans may qualify for
Police have arrested a mother and grandmother in connection with the death of a toddler. They say they were doing a welfare check at the roadway inn yesterday. They say they found the 3-year-old boy on the floor.
Next story is crazy. Mother and grandmother. This actually happened back in April 23rd, 2022. So this happened back in April. I never covered this story, but I'm going to cover it right now. Mother and grandmother is charged with murder after allegedly forcing 4-year-old to drink a bottle of whiskey. A 4-year-old Louisiana girl died on Thursday after allegedly being forced by her grandmother to drink a bottle of whiskey as the child's mother looked on. Luxanne Record, 53, and Kaja Record, 28, were both arrested on the following day on charges of first-degree murder in connection with the death of China Record. Police said the girl's sibling told them the incident occurred after the child took a sip of whiskey from a bottle of Canadian Mist, which is 80 proof. It's 80 proof. Her grandmother then punished the girl by forcing her, while on her knees, to drink the rest of the bottle, which was more than half full, the advocate reported. China Record had a blood alcohol level of 0.680, over 8 times the legal driving limit for adults. When first responders arrived at the house, Baton Rouge Police Department spokesperson Sergeant L. Jean McNally told the outlet the amount would be fatal even for an adult. After the girl finished drinking the whiskey, Kaja Record placed her daughter in a bathtub, and neither woman sought medical care for China until after she had stopped breathing. Police allege in booking documents that wrote. A neighbor on Wells Street where the fatal punishment was inflicted caught the child's treatment sickening while talking to the advocate. That film was recorded in social media comments after the Baton Rouge Police Department posted a release on social media with the women's mugshots and details of the arrest, with one user calling the crime incomprehensible. Both mother and grandmother were booked into East Baton Rouge Parish Prison on Friday. It was not nearly clear whether either had representation on when they were next due in court. Okay. Number one, I heard of serious corporal punishments. I was actually watching a Dr. Phil episode where a mother basically poured hot sauce in her son's mouth, burnt his tongue, because guess he wasn't behaving. You know, couple punishment is a crime, and it's a serious crime. Because somebody can either be injured or seriously hurt, even killed. So, you think that what you're doing is okay, but really it's not. The fact that You force a 4-year to drink whiskey. Like, I just don't understand what is going on. The grandmother, which I'm assuming is in the black jacket, you can see here, the grandmother's in black jacket. It's the grandmother. Looks like she is on crack. The background she's on crack. And the mother, yeah, I just don't understand how you sit back and watch somebody basically poison the child with alcohol. It was alcohol poison. I mean, it's just dumb. And I hope that when they get to court, they'll have a better explanation of why we think it was okay for you to poison your daughter with alcohol and poison your granddaughter with alcohol. Poison a child with alcohol. What about all this? These people need to serve life imprisonment, if not the rest of their life in prison. This was heinous. This is something you see in a movie. And the fact that the mother was on the sidelines just cheering it on. You just as guilty. You plead not guilty, you're gonna get found guilty. And let me tell you why. Anytime you with somebody and that person commits a crime, you just as guilty. Because number one, you help the child. Number two, you didn't call 911. Number three, you didn't ask or take the bottle away. Number four, as a parent, your job is to protect the child. You didn't do that. You have to protect your child against your child abuser, which is your own mother and your child's grandmother. So it tells you, it's sick. Some people are just sick. Sick. And I'm saying, when I get to prison and they hear what y'all did, let's just say it ain't gonna be good. Doesn't matter if the couples put you in protective custody. It ain't gonna be good. Yeah, I gonna get child in prison every single day. Every single day. Let me know what you think about that story. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Leave some comments down below. Tell me what you think about this story. Yes. Alright, I'm still hungry. Dumb out here. I'll be out your way in about 5 minutes. The last story is out of Virginia. 2-year-old girl is found dead in the oceanfront hotel room. I'm gonna read you the article. I'm share the video. Police are investigating the suspicious death of a 2-year-old found dead in a Virginia Beach hotel room on Monday. WBEC reports that officers responded to the hotel room on Atlantic Avenue around 3:30 a.m. and found the girl's body. Police say they also found a woman in the room having a medical emergency. According to WBEC, detectives confirmed this case is connected to a DC mom who took off with her 2-year-old daughter late last week after losing a custody battle. DC authorities said no ambulance was issued because there was no immediate threat to the child at that point, and she was not reported missing. Here is the news.
Virginia Beach, police are investigating the death of a 2-year-old girl found in an oceanfront hotel room. Officers say a woman was also found in that same room having a medical emergency. Now, detectives confirm the case is connected to the DC mom who took off with her 2-year-old daughter late last week after losing a custody battle. DC authorities say no Amber Alert was issued because there was no known immediate threat to the child at that point, and she was not reported missing.
Okay. That is suspicious. I don't know. I'm saying is detectives got some work to do to figure out what happened. I hope they found out what happened. And I will do an update on the story when there's an update. But I think an Amber Alert should have been put out, especially if somebody is going through something such as losing a custody battle and taking the children with you to another state or city. That should be a concerning factor because you don't know that person's mental state. So I think Amber Alert should have been active, but I don't know what happened. But the condolences goes out to the family and RIP to the child. That's crazy. You gotta be careful. You know who you're in a relationship with, because you never know what somebody is thinking. But that's the end of the video. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe. Please turn on the notification bell to be notified every time I drop a brand new video. Please subscribe to my Crime Time channel. Over there, you can like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the bell over there also. Also, you can go on my Facebook channel. I have about 2, 3, or 4 channels on Facebook under my name, Charles Parker. Please go over there and check me out there. Now, tell me checking with these stories. Let me know in the comments what stories y'all want me to do next on this channel, and also what videos you want me to do on my Crime Time channel, where I talk about infamous serial killers. So tell me what you want to see on that channel, and what should I talk about next on that channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like always, take care and spread the love. Peace.